Hey everybody, the Johnny Cage here. We're doing a Friday night Skype session for the first time in well over a year. And with me today we have our illustrious panel of people that know stuff about stuff. Like Utorai and Antlion Alpha and Genray, Mr. Ryan Phoenix, and Dilly, who knows a lot about Elder Scrolls Online.
Keeping it small this time. Usually we have our panel of 15 people. Keeping it short.
It's easier when you don't have to deal with 12 people at a time. So we're talking about E3 for about as long as we can talk about E3 until we run out of stuff to talk about E3-wise. So we just finished it. I finally got a chance to watch all of the conferences pretty much. So we'll go through some of the highlights and talk about, who won, of course, and where everything stands with the video game industry after this monumental press conference of sorts. So start with Sony, just because I know that you guys know a lot more about Nintendo than what happened over at Sony and Microsoft's area. But Sony had some pretty good stuff. They have a really good trailer for Dead Island 2. Not that the first Dead Island was really good, but the trailer for it's really fun. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And let's see, after that, Doom 4 is coming. Is that exciting?
Oh, freaking time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's Doom.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, well, you gotta watch the other conferences, that's why. There's not much to it. It's very much a teaser trailer. It looks like it's trying to be kind of a prequel of sorts. I couldn't remember if Doom 3 was trying to be a prequel. I kind of thought that was supposed to be a prequel. I don't know.
Why? Why would you do this?
Why to do what?
Why would you wait? God, how long has it been? Like 12 years? And it's like, we're going to make another game, and it's going to be a prequel. Why? Why would you do that?
By that
There's
you mean
no
that they're using Atari graphics.
Yes.
Right.
Atari 2600, Doom 4.
Yeah, it was a very short trailer, not a lot to really see. There was one of the big Hell minion dudes in it that you've seen from previous Doom games, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Where does Doom even stand nowadays in the world where we have so many more realistic kind of shooters? By realistic I mean your Call of Duty and your Battlefield. You don't see a new Quake coming out anytime soon, or Unreal.
Yeah. Pretty much all the sci-fi shooters have fallen by the wayside.
Really have. With the exception of maybe Halo, but we can talk about the state of Halo. They did have some information on that. Let's see, there was some talk about Destiny, the game Destiny, which is gigantic. It's got a huge, ridiculous budget. It's like something like $500 million budget. It's the biggest for any game ever. And it looks very, it's one of those games that's going on constantly. But you're just like, you're part of one faction and you're vying for supremacy of an area. So you just jump in, kill some guys, and go. Everything in the game is super customizable. The guns look great. It definitely had like a Borderlands 2 kind of feel to it, which I appreciated. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up we had
trying to make like an.
What were we saying?
Trying to make like an MMO shooter.
Yeah, it's pretty much an MMO shooter. Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm behind it.
It looks great. It's got a huge budget. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of a game that's just constantly going on. I mean, it's a good way to get people hooked for sure. Like, there's always action. It's like, why don't you want to be playing? Why don't you want to be helping out your buddies? Come on, play the game. Don't be stupid.
More reasons to stay inside and not do anything productive.
Right. So we saw The Order, which is a game that takes place in the 1800s. It looked like a shooter at first. There might be some survival horror elements to it. There's werewolves in it. Werewolves.
Ooh, werewolves.
Yeah, werewolves. Little Big Planet 3 was announced.
No.
No.
Is it that thing that had Conquer?
No. People went crazy.
I did see the trailer for that.
Yeah, people went crazy when they came out because there was no lead up to it. Like most games have some sort of a trailer that will play, and then at the end it will reveal what it was. This was like the entire room was just black, and then it just lit up, and Big Planet 3 was on the screen, and there were just people out there already giving a demo of it. And
Yeah, I like that it went right into a demo of it there rather than trailer there to show off the gameplay mechanics for it.
Yeah, I've never played a Little Big Planet game before. They're incredibly popular. I can see the appeal to it.
Not worth it at all.
Genray is not feeling it for that kind of game.
Just not for our group there.
I guess not.
It's not a fun. I mean, when that whole Sony hack debacle and they gave us all games for free, Little Big Planet was one of them. It is not an enjoyable experience, at least to me, no matter what you do.
Well, why is it so unenjoyable?
It's like it's a platformer with horrible controls that reminiscent to like the old NES games where you'd slide all over the place and everything act like ice physics everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bad hit detection, and the whole. I don't even know if there's an actual game in it because like the whole thing the only thing I seem to be capable of doing was actually finding levels other people made, and it's usually just a bunch of crap.
Right. Well,
Someone want to correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my experience with the game.
I'm not sure myself.
I can feel some apprehension about wanting to delve into creating your own level or playing user-created levels, because they're just, they're not from video game designers. They're just random shit that gets thrown together. And, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fails for, every one win of a stage.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's no quality control. People just throw their shit on there, so, like... I'd argue every one level that's actually decent, not good, just decent, there's like 1,000 that are just god-awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that all makes sense. So, you take it for what it is. If you go into it understanding that, then you're probably going to have a better time. I mean, I guess you just got to take that along with it. If you've never played a Little Big Planet game, I'll give one a try. When I get the chance, if I ever do. I'm not sure.
Well, they're PlayStation exclusives, so unless you own a PS3 or a PS4, you're probably not gonna.
Probably not, and I don't know if I plan on getting a system at all. I mean, I'm getting ahead of everything, but I was not sold on anything at all this year. I thought it was great overall. I will say this before we get into the overall evaluation. I thought everybody had really good conferences this year, which I think is the first time in like at least 3 years that I can say that. But even so, didn't sell me on the system.
What about if you get it as like a Christmas present?
If I get it as a present, then yeah, but I'm just not going to spend my own money on it.
Alright.
No, Dilly's going to buy me one. Yay!
Yay.
I'm gonna get you so drunk you forget, so just calm down.
I probably will. There was something from the people that created the Demon Souls, Dark Souls game.
It's FromSoft! But they got bought, dude. Those motherfuckers got bought up by some huge company in Japan.
Oh, did they? Okay. It was some game called Bloodborne.
They got ate up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bloodborne.
Well, there you go.
Is it a Demon Souls prequel?
It's got guns in it. I can tell you that. It was just a cinematic trailer. You didn't see any gameplay yet. But you get the feeling that it's going to be Demon Souls like. But I can't even really remember. Go check it out. Go check out the trailer for it. It looked pretty good, but I can't really tell you exactly what it was all about.
Bloodborne.
What was that?
What?
Dilly asked what it was called.
Yeah, what was it called?
Bloodborne.
It's kind of nasty.
Said the guy who likes a game called Dark Souls.
There's also the demons.
That's the same freaking thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I will stab you with love.
I survived the 80s and the early 90s of frustrating games.
Yeah, but you didn't survive the tutorial, did you?
I don't want to play one that kicks my ass just for the sake of reminiscing about old school games.
Yeah, what's next on the list?
Next on the list is Far Cry 4.
Oh, God, no.
Dude, okay, I'll tell you this about Far Cry. I got Far Cry 3 for $10 earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. It's Skyrim with guns, basically. And they always have really good villains. And seriously though, the villain in Far Cry 3, this guy by the name of Voss, just awesome. fantastic bad guy. One of the best video game bad guys I've ever seen by far. They have some other really weird looking guy for this one. I guess that's a running thing in the Far Cry games, is have a really over the top, crazy bad guy. And this guy is no different. Far Cry 3 took place in like the Pacific Islands. This one takes place in the Himalaya Mountains. So big difference, but you know they're pretty solid games. I wouldn't pay full price for them, but I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I'll say that much. Let's see, after that we got into some game called Entwined. I don't really remember what that was. Infamous First Light trailer, which is it? I think it was DLC for Second Son. Which just...
Yeah, it was.
You can't go wrong with Infamous games. You just can't.
Really? See, I've never played one. I don't know. They didn't really strike me as being amazing. They look alright. I mean, but...
That was the other game they gave me for the whole, debacle was Infamous. And they are really, really good. They're really fun to play. The mechanics are solid. It's fun walking around throwing lightning at people.
That's always a good time. Let's see.
I mean, again, I don't think they're worth $60 because they're not all that long, but, you can get it for cheap, go for it.
Definitely an issue with games nowadays, and the $60 tag on them, just it's a little too much to swallow on a lot of occasions. Let's see. After that, we get into Magica 2. No one cares. Grim Fandango Remastered, one of Tim Schafer's early games. It's an adventure type game. I don't know if it's like a point and click kind of game, but it might be. I don't know. Anyone know about Grim Fandango?
It's hard to get excited about a remake of a game I've never heard of.
Right. Well, it's Tim Schafer. He's the guy that did like Brutal Legend, and did he do? He didn't do Psychonauts, did he? Or did he?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for not knowing that, but oh well, whatever. There was a new game from the people that made Journey. If you played Journey, it was a pretty bizarre game. It was very indie.
Yeah.
There's 3 games made by that developer, actually.
Tim Schafer? Yeah, he's pretty popular. I know Brutal Legend was one of them. Then he has some earlier ones. I think
the game with Jet Black in it?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the guy who had the game designer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he wrote the story. It was Journey, Flow, and
you're talking
Flower?
You're talking about the Journey games. Oh. Never mind then.
What are you talking about?
I thought we were going back to Tim Schafer and the Grim Fandango Brutal Legend thing.
I have no idea who the hell Tim Schafer is, or that game that you just shouted at me.
Great. Let's just move on and forget that any of this ever happened.
Agreed.
I'm just you said the Journey games, though.
What was that?
Yeah, I think I remember Journey. I think I had it for the original Xbox.
Yeah, you're like this weird little mystical character that's got a big scarf, and you can only communicate with if you can play it online co-op, but you can only communicate with just one button that just makes like a shrieking noise. So you don't really know what
the same game, no.
you want the other person to do. It's really just a beautiful looking game. It's just a very, I don't know. I would compare it almost to like an Ico or Shadow of the Colossus kind of thing, but not as many giant boss battles.
No, you need more giant boss battles.
You need more giant boss battles, right? There's a new Suda 51 game. Suda 51 is the company that made the No More Heroes games. Super stylized kind of game. It's got to be kind of your cup of tea, though. So, yeah, it's a tough sell. No Man's Sky, they have a gameplay trailer of. Really small studio. There's only 4 people working on this game, but this game is... If this game works, it's going to be amazing. If it doesn't, it's just going to be crap. But so you start on a planet that's completely your own kind of planet, like, Minecraft style, completely randomly generated. But you've got different animals and flora and fauna and stuff on it that you discover, and you have a spaceship. I believe you start with a spaceship. I don't know if you have to make one or not, but then you can go into space and you can go to travel to other people's planets, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff to it. There's like enemy fleets of starships, and you kind of just have to watch the trailer for it. It's so big and expansive looking, and I think that they're just biting off a lot more than they can chew with it. But if if it does work, it's gonna be amazing. So
Definitely agree there. But, I remember seeing that one.
Yeah,
If it does work, if they do pull it off, then it'll be a great game.
I'm going to have to agree with Ryan on that one. I'm definitely going to be looking into that.
yeah, it's a small studio. Apparently, their studio flooded like just a few months ago, and they almost lost everything that they'd been working on for the past couple of years.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, so hopefully it works out for those guys. I forget the name of the company, but I believe this is their very first game, and
I think so.
they're putting all of their
Right.
all the resources into it. So hopefully that works out.
Kudos to
Let's
the
see.
little guy there.
Right. Let's get to one of the big ones. Definitely something that I'm always looking forward to as a fighting game enthusiast. Mortal Kombat X, or Mortal Kombat 10. Looks amazing. Beautiful, beautiful graphics. They introduced 2 new characters. Totally forget what their names were. One was like this insect kind of a chick, and another one was this gigantic guy with this little evil person on his back. Not a lot to say. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat, but it looks beautiful. I mean, you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that was actual gameplay footage they were showing.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it.
Looked really, really neat. I mean, gotta get excited for new Mortal Kombat. I love it. Next, some guy came out and talked about this comic book called Powers that they're making into an original series coming to the PlayStation Network. So that's kind of an interesting angle that they're going with it. We also had, now we get into some kind of boring stuff. Ratchet & Clank, the movie trailer, Last of Us Remastered, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain trailer, continues to look amazing. The trailer was brutal for it. It was like so torturous and depressing, and apparently there are lots of instances of torture in the game itself. So I mean, going super dark. I think that will probably be the overwhelming consensus of that game when it comes out, just based on what I've seen so far. But
I think at this point, Kojima's just trying to get fired.
he's really like, for the Japanese, being as humble of people as they are, he's really like, he's really full of himself and puts himself out there for everything. That guy, he's like, I want you to know that I'm the one that made this game, and I'm amazing for it.
He wants it to fail, so Konami will be like, no more games.
Yeah, that's actually another good thing to talk about. I'll finish off this, not much left from Sony, but there's something to talk about as far as Konami is concerned. You know what, actually I'll talk about it right now, because I want to talk about something else coming up. But Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PS4, there wasn't much to show there. I forgot if there's anything new. I think it was just updated graphics and such. Let's see. Okay, wait, there's only 2 more games. Batman, Arkham Knight. My god, if you have not seen the gameplay for it, go. It looks amazing. Super amazing. I don't know if every game has its, or every system I should say, has its own exclusive bad guy that's going to be in it. It kind of made it seem that way. I think there said something about like Scarecrow being exclusive to Sony. I'm not positive, but they kind of made him seem like he might be the big antagonist of that game. But that'd be interesting if you had a different major antagonist on every system, but I'm not sure if that's the way they're going with it or not.
There's enough Batman villains to go around.
But, dude, you just gotta see the gameplay for this. It's so awesome. I loved Batman, like Arkham City was an amazing game. Super amazing.
All the Arkham games are awesome.
Well, yeah, they're really great. And this one, huge emphasis on the Batmobile. And the transitioning from being just like on foot to being in the Batmobile is just seamless. Like, you just call it to where you are, it comes and picks you up, and then you just shoot right out of the Batmobile, out of the top of it, and then you're gliding again through the city. And it's just, wow. It is exactly how you would assume Batman would do it, but it's so seamless in how it flows and how you move that it's just, oh man, they nailed it. So
I'd like to weigh in.
What's
Batman in general is fucking awesome. Just wanted to throw that out there. We can all agree on this one, right?
Yeah,
Well said.
I believe we can.
Okay, good.
Good. Now that we have the important stuff out of the way. Oh, and it ended with Uncharted 4. That was their big one this year. Haven't seen Uncharted in a while. The Uncharted games are pretty awesome. Just a really short CG trailer, but it was apparently it wasn't a CG trailer. It was all like in game of what it's supposed to look like. And if it is gonna look that beautiful, then my God, we have really hit. Like, we're starting to reach that point where we're utilizing the new hardware to its fullest, because it's just insane. A lot of this stuff you just have to see for yourself. But it's a cool game. It's a great series, so it was a nice one to end it with. Getting back to what I was talking about with Kojima and Metal Gear. So one day, rather, it doesn't really matter, Konami was supposed to have their conference, and it was scheduled in the States here at like 3 in the morning. And it turns out they just no-showed their own conference. There was nothing about it at all. It just didn't air. Like, apparently, like, on their website there was like a countdown going on, and when the countdown ended, nothing happened. They just didn't show up. I have not heard anything about it since, but they just didn't. They were too cool. So.
Huh. Has Konami made anything other than Metal Gear recently?
That's the idea. You're right. Konami, their heyday is all in the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. You got Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid, and I'm not even sure if you have anything else, really.
I know they technically still make Castlevania games.
Well, yeah. Technically speaking. But yeah, that's just what I have to say about Konami. Not that I would have probably said much about them anyway. But that's the situation over there. However you want to interpret it. Alright, so we get to Microsoft. Okay, so last year, Microsoft, famous for just the shitstorm of PR that they had with their presentation. Their console's $100 more. Everything was supposed to be strictly online. The gaming community just completely turned on them, and they deserved it. They deserved it. And this time, they get incredibly humble. They don't have a big stage. They're, like, on the floor with the people that are in the seats. And they even, like, the guy who comes out and does their opening presentation, he even name drops Sony and Nintendo in a positive way as being, like, good competitors that, we're all focused on making quality video games for everyone. And it's like, wow, it's like very, very humble, very strange. I don't think anyone bought it. But, they had to try something to get themselves out of that hole from last year. Also, a lot of emphasis on indie games. I know that, from what I've heard, developers have been very outspoken about it being very difficult to get their indie games onto Xbox Live. So, there's it seems like there's a good amount of bad blood there. But, yeah, so they tried to do a piece to everyone with this startup. We get the first thing they show us is the game Evolve, which is a game where there's 4 of you. You have your basic kind of classes. It's a first-person shooter type game. You can also play as this monster. You're just like hunting a gigantic monster. It's kind of like, I guess in that sense it makes it sound like a Monster Hunter game. I don't know if it is just a Monster Hunter kind of game, but it looks cool. You can have a person, one of your buddies, playing as the actual monster itself, so that's neat. But I don't know, not a lot to write home about on that one. It looks like it'll probably just be par for the course, honestly. Then we get Assassin's Creed Unity, the new one. They'll pop those things out like nobody's business. This one's got co-op for the first time ever. It's got co-op, and I don't mean like Brotherhood online. I think like sitting right next to each other, co-op, and you can go on all the missions together, and it looks really cool. Only problem is that when you run into a situation like that, you're probably going to run into basically everyone wanting to kill the guy as quickly as possible. And during the gameplay trailer, they're making it really neat looking how you could go from, all your guys could go one place and you could go another place and you could plan out this assassination really well. I don't think it's going to work that way at all, but
very doubtful.
Very doubtful. Everyone will just want to get in there, get to the guy, kill him fastest, and be the one to, get the kill more than anything else. So, Next we have Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age games. I've never really played them. They look great. I know that they're basically Mass Effect, but in, fantasy times instead.
They're a little slow at times, but,
The second one, not so much. I think you can't change the story of the second one no matter what you do, from what I remember.
I don't really know. I mean, I know very little about them.
You can't really...
They do have a huge fan following, though.
They're really well done, role-playing games. I just, the pacing of combat is pretty slow, at least in the Origins and the DLC Awakening. I don't know too much about Dragon Age 2.
Dragon Age 2 is a completely different game. The battle system is, completely different. It engages more in, combos and button at the same time as opposed to, the input commands like frickin' Knights of the Old Republic. It's a totally different game.
Alright. Well, there you go there. If you like Dragon Age, you'll probably like this one.
Now forget Dragon Age. They really screwed up the second one.
Oh. Well then. We'll see what happens.
I don't know, I like the second one.
Oh, don't do it, Ujo. Don't do it. Don't be that guy.
He's gonna be that guy. This guy over here. Next is a really interesting looking game, Sunset Overdrive. Totally different than the typical Microsoft kind of game. How to best explain it? It kind of looked like it had a little bit of Dead Rising to it. A lot of fun. You're just a guy that's a little bit of Jet Grind Radio even, because you're just this punk guy that's it's very comic booky, the whole style of it, very stylized like that, and there was an energy drink that had some sort of chemical put into it, and everyone's turning into mutants, and you're just going around killing mutants, but it's very comic booky, it's very fun looking, and it's a good idea for an IP for Microsoft, just to give them something that's not so gritty. They really need something like that. So next up we got I saw the Happy Council Gamer talk about this one. Dead Rising 3 Super Ultra Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Alpha. Awesome name.
So is it is it a gag name?
It's totally a gag name. You can play as you can customize your guy to look like anyone from pretty much any of the fighting game Capcom, different games, and yeah, that's it. Really, that is it. So not a big deal, but funny. It's something that catches your attention at least.
I mean, if they're just gonna say, "Oh, well, we know the appeal of these games is being just ridiculously fun to kill zombies," then sure, go for it. You don't need to have an encrypting story. It doesn't have to be The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and seriously, The Walking Dead, I don't know about this season of The Walking Dead. I mean, as far as the game of The Walking Dead, the first one was really good. This one I'm not really getting into very much. But that's neither here nor there. So, let's see. Fable Legends, it's got multiplayer. It's a Fable game. It's got multiplayer. Amazing.
I've never owned an a Microsoft console except for that one modded Xbox I had for a while. I've never owned a Fable game. So as much as I had an interest in attempting to play those games, I never had one to play it. So
there's a good RPG series.
Yeah, they're not
bad.
bad.
I played the first two of it. I never played the third one yet. But yeah, I think that's an interesting idea there.
Yeah,
this is a big game. Throw some multiplayer on it there.
big year for multiplayer actually. Kind of trying to get it back to local. Just setting up your LAN parties, getting people back on the couch, playing it in homes. Seemed like that was a big emphasis across the board this year, which is great. I mean, I would love to get back into that. I mean, it's definitely not dead. People do that all the time still. It's good to see people getting back into the swing of things and not just being like, hey, we live in the future world where everything's online and that's the only way people play. But, alright, so after that, here was a big moment in the presentation. JonTron made a video about this. So they have a game called Project Spark, and the beta for it has been out for a while. I don't know if the full game has or not, but it's just a game where you make your own game. It's like an RPG Maker kind of thing, but it's really easy. Everything's very, very much geared towards someone that doesn't know anything about programming, obviously, to make the kind of game that you want. And at the end of this, they show the whole thing, and then out of nowhere comes Conker from such classics as Conker's Bad Fur Day. And he slices in part the Project Spark logo with the chainsaw, and he mentioned something about haven't had a game in 10 years. Well, I guess you're going to have to make one. And at first I was like, wait, does this mean that Microsoft is going to make a new Conker game? Or the only way we're going to get a new Conker game is if we make one using this game, Project Spark? And it seems like, at least the way that JonTron interpreted it, and it looks like a lot of the rest of the internet, is that Microsoft has no want or ambition to make a new Conker game. The only way you're going to get one is if you make it yourself. So, I don't know.
Honestly, I'd have not put it past them to have that, just to be like, we're not making this actual game, we're just going to make a Conker game.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because Nintendo kind of did the same thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. Well, not a second, probably half an hour. But, yeah, so I don't know. Like, that just felt like, after they came out and were all humble, it felt like it was a middle finger. Unless most people are interpreting it wrong, and they are actually going to make a new Conker game for, the Xbox. But if they don't, that really is just a middle finger, because Conker, not so much for me, but for a lot of people, a very beloved character. People have been wanting to see him in the game for a long time now. So that's really all you can say about that. There's another game, Ori and the Blind Forest, but that's not that important. Then you get to Halo 5, Guardians. There wasn't a lot to say about this. I don't even remember seeing like a trailer or anything. I don't know if they even did. Well, they're just talking about the beta, right? Okay, that's what I have written down here. So yeah, they talked about the Master Chief Collection. For the first time, you're going to have Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be put onto, one. I don't think it's going to be one disc, but it's like a box set. So you're going to be able to play the early Halos remastered for the first time. So, that was something for the Halo nerds out there, at least. Kind of tied them over.
Now, was it that the Halo 5 beta was supposed to be part of this box set, if I remember right?
Was that right? That might be true. Because there were a couple other things with it, too. Like, I think they had, a couple of the animated series, maybe, and, the live-action series that they did for it also included.
Yeah.
It pretty much had everything that Halo has in this box, except for ODST and the Halo Wars game. But everything else seemed to be
Reach.
So yeah, some guy came out and talked about their indie games. I believe it was this ID at Xbox. Some guy just came out and talked for a while. And then you get, let's see, you just get some trailers from some stuff. Rise of the Tomb Raider 2, that has a trailer for it now. Not coming out for a long time. Probably won't see that until the fall of 2015 or something like that.
That's kind of weird because I feel that the Tomb Raider game they made was basically Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, well, this one's it's not a game. You don't see any gameplay. It's her sitting in a therapist's office talking about what she went through, and then she kind of at the end just accepts that she's really meant to be a Tomb Raider and go out there and kill bad people and raid tombs.
That's basically what happens at the end of the first game.
Well, there you go. Then.
She's on the boat escaping the island, and it's I could go home, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to this other thing that I know is mystical treasure, and it's okay, so basically that's the lead-in to, I guess, Tomb Raider 1, or would be, of some sort, but...
Yeah, well, we're not going to see it for a while, so whatever happens, happens. We get The Witcher 3, we get some gameplay of that, looks pretty cool. Those games are really big and expansive. I wouldn't mind giving one of those a try, just considering how much I love Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games. They look pretty neat.
Oh, then you should come join our guild in Elder Scrolls, Johnny.
I think I'll
It's always
pass.
open.
I think I'll pass.
You could be the leader. You could be the leader like you are in real life.
Wow, what a title. We can go steal all the pies.
Well, I try to.
So, let's see. They announced this game, Phantom Dust, that was apparently, it's a remake of a game. I think it's of the same name. It was on the original Xbox. They show that. The trailer doesn't do anything at all. It's like a guy that's glowing blue and a girl that's glowing pink, and they start running at each other, and that's it. Nothing, you can't decipher anything from it. They each have Division, the game The Division, gameplay demo. That looks pretty cool. Just like the battle damage and just the detail to it looks really neat. Definitely getting into next gen with that kind of stuff. Platinum Games. Oh shit! What has Platinum Games done? Oh, they did the Wonderful 101 on the Nintendo, on the Wii U, and they did another game that was more popular than that. I just can't remember what it was. But they're making an exclusive game for the Xbox called Scalebound, which pretty much looks like you're like a Dragonborn or something like that. You seem to be a guy who can call upon like dragon armor to surround himself, and he also has dragon buddies, as it shows in the trailer.
So it's basically Lair,
Sure.
which was one of the launch titles for the PS3.
Oh, okay.
Which was it was like Drakengard without talking,
Oh, okay. I do know Drakengard a bit.
and no weapon or no like arsenal of weapons. Pretty much just one.
One weapon to rule them all.
Isn't like Drakengard 4 coming out or something too?
I really couldn't tell you. Not up to date on that at all.
Either that or I think Drakengard 3 just came out. That was the big thing with Drakengard.
Alright, check that out. Crackdown was announced. Apparently Crackdown, the first game, was really popular back in the day. I don't exactly know how far back in the day. But it looks a lot like Saints Row. Word on the street is that it's going to be an MMO. So think MMO, Saints Row, and that's kind of what you're looking at, basically.
Multiplayer for Grand Theft Auto?
Essentially, a bit more crazy than Grand Theft Auto, but you know that's where the whole Saints Row aspect of it comes into play. I'll talk a little bit here about Ubisoft because they had a conference hosted by Aisha Tyler.
Oh Lord, here we go.
You know, I'm going to say this, that she gets a really bad break, because she is genuinely a gamer, but she just gets constantly no one likes her at all. Everyone questions her credibility on stuff like that, but geez, just give her a break.
Well, I mean, it's not that I have any problem with her. If she's, whether she's a gamer or not, I don't know her personally, so I don't really particularly care. I mean, if she was invited there just because she's a celebrity, well, that annoys me. But if she's a gamer, okay, fine, I can accept that. It's that she was fucking annoying.
Well, okay, I'll give you that.
I've never seen somebody
kind of
fake that much excitement since, like, Usher last year.
Everybody get up!
Oh, man. Alright, so let's see, what was I going to say here? A lot of stuff we already touched on from Ubisoft. Ubisoft makes some great games. Far Cry, The Division, we talked about briefly, Assassin's Creed. Their big ones here, like there's the Crew Coast to Coast, which looks like a really cool driving game. It's a mock-up of the entire U.S., and you can draw, scaled down version of it, and you can drive from L.A. to New York in like 2 real hours. Just to give you an idea of how large it actually is. As
opposed to the 40 real hours it would take you.
Yeah. So pretty interesting. I like it. Big enough to make things interesting and cover all the different areas of America there. They had a gameplay of this game called Shape Up, which is seriously just Dance Dance Revolution. But I was like, why is this not like people were just calling this Dance Dance Revolution? Because it's exactly the same thing. There's no dance pad, obviously, because we don't need a dance pad in this day and age. But it is exactly like a Dance Dance Revolution, which is awesome.
Are they trying to market it as like exercise?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's why.
Yeah.
You don't want to give it a fun title like Dance
Right.
Dance Revolution.
Exactly. But yeah, it was totally Dance Dance Revolution. I think there are some other things in it as well, not just a dancing aspect of it. They ended. There's a game. There was some other stuff, but let's see.
Is there going to be a new Siphon filter?
No, there's going to be a new Rainbow Six.
Oh, sweet.
That was
called Rainbow 7?
Nope, it's still Rainbow Six. Pretty cool trailer though. It was just like a big house. I wouldn't call it like a mansion, but just a really large house. And there's a hostage in it, and you just had to get him out. And you had teams of 5. Really destructible environments. Really fun the way that you could plan out how you wanted to commence your assault, like different entry points. They started by sending a drone in to find out where the hostage was and get an idea of the layout and where the bad guys were located. Looked really cool. Might have some serious potential there.
They're going back to the old school Rainbow Six when it was like a tactical SWAT game and not like a killing spree on Rainbow Six Vegas.
Right.
Good lord.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic that this game's coming out when Tom Clancy just passed away in October.
Let's
God
see.
rest his soul.
EA, they were boring as hell. I'm not even gonna say anything about EA. They're terrible.
Fuck those guys.
It was
Yeah, what
mostly
Uto said.
sports, so it don't matter. So let's get here, as we're like 40 minutes into this. Yeah, let's get to what we can actually all talk about. Nintendo.
Yay!
Nintendo. All right, so we have them leading off. They did all this it's like robot chicken stuff, which was kind of weird.
You wouldn't expect that from Nintendo, of all people.
No,
I
you really
really
wouldn't.
enjoy that. They seem much more aimed at like they didn't have a limit to their audience. It wasn't
Yeah,
aimed at kids specifically.
that's something I noticed too. Like, they still have their, classic kid-friendly stuff, but I think they're finally starting to realize their core fan base from, like, the 80s is grown up now. Because they showed a lot of, like, really violent shit, too.
Well, yeah, they did actually. They did. They showed this game, Devil's Third, which was like super gory. But it also looked really dated. Like, this game has to be touched up. I think it was an old THQ property, I heard, and then they grabbed it and they're gonna put it on the Wii U. But it's like when that game Mad World came out for the Wii, and it was all like in black and white, but really, really bloody. It kind of gave me that kind of feeling, like, wow, this is gonna be that kind of game for the Wii U, where it's like the complete standout, like the people swearing in the trailer and people getting decapitated, blood everywhere, and I don't know. I guess this is just one of those things that Nintendo does every once in a while. They go way off the deep end. So, whatever.
Yeah,
I
there's
saw
some
the
reasons why.
trailer for that. That wasn't in the conference.
Oh, okay. Was there a trailer for it? My stuff's all over the place.
Well,
So
I guess if they announced it.
if this isn't the way that things went in order, it's not how they went in order. This is just how I have.
Yeah,
stuff
Johnny,
written down.
this is a game, like, this was, like, one of the last things they announced.
Yeah, well, you were just bringing up like adult stuff, so I threw that in there right now.
Just ran with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good call on your end,
that's
Johnny.
what I do. You got to be able to improvise
Team leader.
on the fly.
Working hard. Sport.
Well, let's get into the Smash Brothers stuff, because there's lots of Smash Brothers stuff to talk about. So, you've got the Miis now. Miis are going to be in Smash Brothers.
Oh, why?
Because they can be. But they're not just putting the Miis in there. There's actually, some customization. There are 3 different types. There's the Brawler, there's the Sword Wielder, and there's the Gunner. And then you can create a set of moves. What was it, like based out of like 36 or something like that? You choose like, I don't know, I forget how many it was, like 12 of them?
So you could be Mario, Link, or Star Fox.
That could be how it turns out. But, at least they're doing something with it. There's a level of customization to the point where I don't think you're going to run into, everyone being the same type of person, at least. So, you got to do that. And now, we got the Amiibo toys. So, these Amiibo toys are like Skylanders or Disney Infinity figures. And you put them on the Wii U gamepad, and they come in and they will help you fight if you're like in trouble, basically. I don't know what I think about this. I think it's a good way for Nintendo to make a bunch of money.
Yeah, mass marketing any kind of toy as a collectible is a bunch of money.
Well, I mean, I was
what?
sitting there, I was thinking about it. It makes sense that they would get into it. There's been a spot on the Wii U gamepad for this, so if you were to think about it, like when the system first came out, you would kind of get the idea that they were going to go this route anyway. But when you go to somebody's house, there's only one gamepad, so and the person that lives at that house is probably the one using the gamepad. So they're just going to be able to like pull like a Mario figurine out of their pocket and be like, "Oh, now I got Mario fighting for me. He's going to kick all your asses."
I guess that's probably more ideal for online play rather than like in the same room.
Yeah, that's true.
Multiplayer.
Pretty cool though. I mean, I guess you can fight against them and train them, and they level up kind of in a way. They get stronger the more that you use them. So that's pretty neat. You know, I guess that's kind of just like how, Skylanders and Disney Infinity works too, in the same kind of a way.
Yeah. And it's also interesting that they were talking about that's not just going to be for the Smash Brothers. Like they're going to be incorporated into Mario Kart 8 somehow,
right,
and into Mario Party and other games. So, like, it's really obvious how they're going to be done in Smash Brothers, but for the other games, like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny that you guys
supposed to do that.
Funny that you guys mentioned that and Skylanders, because the first thing I'm going to try, my brother owns Skylanders, so I'm taking my Mario figure and seeing if he can do anything in that.
I doubt you can.
Well, I'm trying
I don't think
anyways.
they can do that without coding.
I'm trying anyways. Try and stop me.
So we got that. It's cool. It will probably generate some good money for Nintendo because they need it. So I guess let's see what else. What else do I have here? Super Smash Bros. Related.
Did you mention that the Mii characters can't be used in like For Glory online play?
Yeah, can't
For
use
tournament.
the characters online.
So I think fans might be thankful for that at least.
Now you won't be playing online. It's only be fighting Captain Dickface.
Oh,
Yeah.
good old Captain Dickface, my greatest rival. Let's see. So
They
Palutena.
also announced the Palutena.
Yeah.
Palutena, is that her name? I don't know. From Kid Icarus, she's gonna be a new character. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't even hear people talk about the Kid Icarus Uprising game that much. I didn't really hear about it that much when it came out, and now it seems like way past the point. I'm not sure. They're really loading up that roster though for Smash Brothers. My God.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then speaking of which, we have the introduction of Pac-Man. Because when I think
That
of,
I'm excited for.
right, when I think of the people clamoring for new Smash Brothers characters, there must have been, upwards of a dozen people that wanted Pac-Man to be in the game. I mean, what can you say about Pac-Man? He's an iconic video game character that probably deserves better than the games that he's been given since his original arcade release. But seriously.
Remember Pac-Man 2000.
Right? It's Pac-Man, guys. I can't get thrilled about wanting to play as Pac-Man, really. I don't know.
I
It's
can.
just
I am
just
really excited.
trying to find so many characters that don't actually belong in a Smash Brothers game. See if they can get a worldwide trend to actually get them into Smash Brothers.
The first time I saw it, because the trailer on the Nintendo YouTube site for Pac-Man's introduction is called Red, Blue, Yellow. And I thought, I'm like, oh god, don't tell me they put in 3 Pokemon trainers into this game. That was my immediate reaction. But then it's like, oh, okay, it's just Pac-Man. So that's good.
Honestly, though, the characters they announced at E3, I'm not as excited for them as I am like other characters they've announced, like Little Mac and Mega Man.
Yeah.
No, Pac-Man's the one I'm the most excited for so far.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I happened to waltz down to Best Buy this week. I actually got to play Smash Brothers. Waited in line for 2 hours to play for 3 minutes. That was pretty not worth it. But the point is, I got to try out Little Mac, and that was pretty fun. He's pretty good at the ground. I mean, keeping in mind the game that I played and the final version are very much going to be different things, but he seems really fucking strong just on the ground. As long as he doesn't get thrown over the side, he's unstoppable.
That's definitely the impression that you get from him. So, yeah, I mean, he'll be fun just because he is so different than everybody else in that sense.
Kind of like Balrog in Street Fighter 2.
Yes, Balrog in Street Fighter 2. Balrog in any Street Fighter. No one plays as Balrog. Everyone plays as Dudley if you want to be the boxer.
Well, it's like you hit kick and nothing happens.
It's because he's a boxer. Yeah, so we have that. Yeah, that basically covers Smash Brothers in a nutshell. We have the Invitational Tournament going on through E3. I didn't watch any of it.
Oh, the hype for that was insane.
Yeah, it seemed like it was. Was it really awesome?
Oh yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
They had a celebrity match too, which I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, that they just had a bunch of random douchebags show up that had nothing to do with video games. And you're mostly right, except one of them was Zelda Williams, which was very fitting.
Who?
I had never heard of
Robin
her.
Williams. It's Robin Williams' daughter.
Oh, I didn't hear the first name. I thought...
Zelda.
Okay, Zelda. Yeah, I knew that.
I knew that Robin Williams' daughter was named Zelda. When I heard Zelda Williams, I completely forgot that Robin Williams' last name was Williams.
Crazy how that happens.
Anyways, long story short, she was a fan favorite. Still didn't win, which was unfortunate.
Oh, well. That's how it goes with fan favorites.
Honestly, I don't even know who any of the other people that showed up were, and I checked around. That was the general consensus of everyone else that was watching the stream at the time.
Mm.
But you imagine they can't just get random, like, as much fun as, like, seeing Chris Hemsworth get his ass kicked at Smash Brothers. I don't think he's much of a avid video game player.
Probably not.
They should have had the character. They should have had the celebrities that they portrayed as the me's in the trailer, like Elijah Wood and Ice-T.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that was actually
they
really
should.
good. Abraham Lincoln gets sworn in. Yeah, I would totally play as Abraham Lincoln. I would play as
Why
Abraham
was
Lincoln over
Abraham
Pac-Man.
Lincoln
I'll tell you
not
that much.
invited to the tournament?
Get the guy who played Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Dude. Seriously.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, Vampire Hunter, not their Lincoln movie.
Oh man, if only Daniel Day-Lewis would have been in the Vampire Hunter movie. Alright, let's see. Yoshi's Woolly World. That's what I mean to say. Yes, there we go.
I'm not a fan of that game.
Kirby's...
You're not a fan of Yoshi in general.
Kirby's
That's
Epic
very
Yarn
true.
versus meets Yoshi's, Yoshi's Island. Combination of the two. Looks nice.
I am looking forward to this. I kind of wanted it, like when they first announced it way back when, but I hadn't really seen much of it. But it looks like they're really doing a lot of charming things with the art style and making it very different from the Kirby Yarn game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a Yoshi game than it is. It's more of a Yoshi game with Yarn graphics than Kirby's Epic Yarn was with Yarn graphics. That was more of like a different game than like a normal Kirby game. This one just seems to be having the Yarn art style, but still keeping true to like the formula of Yoshi games.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem I have with that game, though, and I'm sure Dilly will back me up on this, is you have to kill a puppy.
That's not even
sorry.
a puppy.
What'd you
It's
say?
like it's like a giant fire dog.
Yeah, a giant fire puppy.
No, we don't kill puppies. We don't. You know better.
You don't kill puppies.
No bueno.
You don't fucking kill puppies. That is a commandment.
I don't want to
Sorry.
kill the puppy, Antline. I'm not going to do it.
See? Good man, Uto. Antline, you're sick. You have sick habits, sir.
Sick man.
Clearly psychopath material playing children's game.
Let's see.
I have to say, I appreciate the Yoshi's Island minus the screaming Baby Mario the entire
Yeah.
Thank God.
Actually, you know what? Now that you bring that up,
Plus.
I'm jumping over to the other side of the fence. Yoshi's Woolly World, great success.
There we go.
Great things in the future. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of these smaller ones before we get to the big stuff. A remake of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon.
Why?
People love
I'd
Pokemon.
like to weigh in on this one,
You will
actually.
buy it because it's Pokemon. That is why. Speaking of
the
Kirby,
big thing-
Kirby and the Rainbow Curse.
Wait, Uto wanted to say something
Yeah.
about
Don't cut me out here, Johnny.
No, we gotta go. We don't have time for
No,
Pokemon
we
here.
don't. No, we don't. Yes, we do have time for Pokemon here.
We always have time for Pokemon, Johnny.
So the big thing, like the only new thing they showed about the Pokemon games really was Mega Sableye. I don't like that, like, because Sableye hard counters my team. I don't need to deal with a stronger one, just from the competitive standpoint. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, you gotta throw that out there.
Also, Mega Swampert, and I forget what the other dude is called right now. Sceptile. Am I right, Antline?
For a while.
Don't ask me, I'm not the Pokemon fan.
You just did a video where you said all their names at the same time.
I remember that is a Pokemon, but I don't know I don't know anything beyond that.
The grass starter there.
My point is that they are adding new Mega Pokemon, which a lot of people said they weren't going to do for some reason unbeknownst to me. But yeah, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, pretty great.
Well, all right.
You made it new, Mr. Cage.
At least you have something to say about it, because I certainly didn't.
Damn fucking right I did.
I don't see the point of remaking.
They'll just
Pokemon
they're
games.
Pokemon games. People love Pokemon games. It's the 10-year anniversary for it. Let's see, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse.
Yeah.
It's a Kirby game. Woo! No one gets
Yeah, Kirby.
too excited for Kirby games, unfortunately, but they're there. At least they're still making them. I'll be sad when they stop
like
making them.
Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby's probably my favorite Nintendo character, but I like his traditional games more than his gimmicky ones. This is the one where you guide him along the path, right?
Yeah, it's one of those games like the Canvas Curse, I think was the last one that did the same style.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say that,
they're
like,
saying
the claymation
it's a
look.
sequel to it.
Yeah, it seems
yeah.
really unnecessary. It's like it's like Pac-Man 2 for the Super Nintendo. Just unnecessary.
I've never been a huge
Miss
fan of
Pac-Man.
touchscreen controls in general, because I like to use buttons and the joystick, but, as long as they're not abandoning the gamepad's, potential, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I don't think it will be too bad. It's just a Kirby game. It will probably be average, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll
That's
be able
the
to find
problem.
one we're excited about.
It's so average that it's just average.
It's very true. Let's see. Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's a trailer. JRPG.
Is that a sequel or they just no?
I have
What is the deal?
no idea. I kind of just zoomed through it.
It's kind of a huge
It's
name
the
you just
10th
dropped
sequel
now.
again, right?
It's the 10th one.
Better be a sequel.
Let's
There's no need
see.
to remake again.
I don't remember what Project Guard was. I don't know. That doesn't ring.
Oh,
that
that was
was
that
like-
thing where they had... It was one of the Miyamoto's in development things where there's like...
Oh,
I saw a little
okay.
bit of it. They had like a thing, and it was on the gamepad.
Mhm.
You had to go to like a number, and you could only interact with that screen at a time. There's like 12
Yeah, just
or something
between
different screens.
cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looked kind of Mario Party-ish. And speaking of which, Mario Party 10 got announced. And
Yeah, kind of knew that was coming eventually.
well, kind of. It's just so sad the way that Mario Party games have gone. And this one looks like it's the same thing. There's this emphasis on the fifth player and this Bowser Party kind of thing where you're like the friend trying to screw over your other friends. But my God, man, what happened to games? Games used to be really hard and really skill based, and especially the Mario Party series, especially up until maybe 6 or so. And then they just started taking this dive towards just it all being luck-based. And 9 was terrible in that sense. It was total
Mine was
luck.
really, yeah.
And, come on. Is it just because they're little kids and, they can't, they'll just get crying and can't handle losing? Come on, man. It's not how it's supposed to be at all. So I don't know. It's a real shame that it's gone that route. But,
Johnny, I propose for you an idea. Perhaps they should do what Dynasty Warriors does, it makes an extreme version of the Mario Party for all the adults. Just do whatever they
I
want.
don't even know half the words you said there, but I'm for it.
You don't play Dynasty Warriors? Like, everyone has, like, every Dynasty Warriors game has, like,
Oh,
a
Dynasty
second
Warriors.
version of
Oh,
it.
okay. I thought you said something weird like Dice Do Warriors or something like that. Like, I don't know what you're talking
That's
about.
also a fun game.
Confused.
Speaking of Dynasty Warriors.
Speaking of
I know where
Dynasty
Antlion is
Warriors.
going with this, and I very much look forward to what we
Yeah,
want
well,
to talk
that's
about.
the big one. That's the big one. Hold your horses. Hold your
Good
horses.
just good segue. Antlion, it was just, it's serendipitous. Just go with it, Johnny. Do it
I
live.
can't do it for that one. That one's the big one. I gotta save that.
Alright, go ahead, Johnny.
Splatoon
Yeah, blow your
looked
load.
pretty cool. It's this game where you paint the entire world. It's like team fighting combat. And you paint the world, and the winner is the person that gets the most paint on and everything. The cool part about it is that your guys will move slower through your enemy's paint, and the paint that's yours you can actually swim through and move at like tremendous speeds to like climb up walls and get on top of roofs and on top of large objects. You kind of have to see it for yourself, but it looked really cool as far as just like the team fighting aspect of it was concerned. Really neat.
It had a lot of original ideas for like a shooter type of game, and I didn't expect that at all for Nintendo.
Mhm.
Even though it is very.
I'm honestly looking forward to that game.
Yeah, that one
it
might
looks
be
really interesting.
That might be a surprise hit. That one could really work out pretty well. I thought
I'm wondering, though.
The Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. I thought that was a pretty awesome game.
I'm wondering if Splatoon will have like a solo campaign at all, like other shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want a game where I have to go like online or have friends at all times to play it.
And I agree completely on that one there. Like, from what it looks like, it does not look like it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have that solo option, but like, I don't know, it's still in production, so they very well could put that in. But right now, it looked like it was completely competitive online play.
Yeah.
From what I see, I can only assume here that the two options it's going to have is like a 4 organized like mode, and then just 8 people randomly get into a game mode, which that works out pretty good. And if you're talking about competitive shooter games, I'm a little familiar with this. I haven't played I don't know if I've played. No, would you say Team Fortress is a big competitive game?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, definitely.
Anyways, that's the only shooter where I have any competitive experience in, and honestly, like looking at that and then looking at this game, my big question is, what is the transition from going from your traditional shooter to this game where you shoot ink everywhere?
There will probably be a lot of stuff that they do to this throughout the time that it's actually released, especially weapon-wise, because you didn't really get a great sense of the different kind of weapons necessarily in the game. It was mostly just the idea of it, of the game, the proof of concept, if you will. And it seems like the concept of it's really awesome. And so they'll just go from there. And I don't recall what the release date was for this, but in time, this could definitely end up being something really awesome if they get all
the one feature that I saw that I thoroughly enjoyed is you can hide in the ink and be completely invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And again, coming from like that competitive TF2 scene, like I played the Spy for 2 years competitively. So whenever I was looking at that trailer, not the trailer, the actual gameplay, when they had it up there on their treehouse thing, I was always thinking to myself, looking at the map, like, okay, that would be a good spot to ambush someone. That one too. That one too. So I'm already in that, looking for spots to hide, and I'm really excited for that one.
You got the upper hand.
I do. I was actually talking to my buddy, Rick, who was on my team for years there, and I told him, yo, Rick, we should make a competitive team for this game, and that's a thing.
Yeah, it looks good. Hopefully it works out for him. Could definitely be some potential there. Let's see, what do I want to get into next? Next I'll get into Project Giant Robot, as I kind of called it. I don't know if they actually said that or not. But
yep, that's the second game of the 3 games Miyamoto talked about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is cool because well, even before they do this game, this might have been earlier where they did Miyamoto sitting in his office playing a game that's blurred out, but very, very clearly is a new Star Fox game.
Oh yeah,
So,
he announced that, didn't
yeah, and they did announce it later on. But I mean, you could even look at it, and even with the blurriness, you could see that it was clearly like the Great Fox flying overhead and like an R-wing doing like a barrel roll and stuff. But it was just way too early in its pre-build for them to show off anything about it. But
I like how he did that though. He came out. He's like, "Oh, I've been working on a few games recently. Here's two I'm going to show you. Oh, by the way, the third one I'm working on is Star Fox, but I don't want to show you that one yet."
yeah, that's awesome. We really need a freaking Star Fox game.
Agreed.
So, you were gonna say something, Gunnar?
No.
Fine. Don't say anything. So
Well,
probably
it's about time we get a new Star Fox game. I mean, how many consoles have they done in between the last one? Like 4?
quite a bit. Going back to the GameCube, sure.
Star Fox Assault, great game. You guys picked it up. Awesome
I don't
storyline.
know. Anyhow, Project Giant Robot. I got pretty thrilled about this. It's still in a very early build. You can tell it was basically just really, really clunky big robots pushing each other over. I hope it's a lot more than that. But anything with giant robots is a thumbs up from me. And you know, just having some like generic, super customizable robots in some sort of just like city setting, blowing each other apart. That's got awesome written all over it. So
Yeah, it looked pretty fun there. Like essentially, like very sumo in the rules there. Like
yeah. So I mean, like I said, hopefully it's not just well, maybe it can be like whoever falls over loses. I guess it would be tough for a giant robot to really get back up, but you know, I don't know if it is, because then it does kind of give like that sumo aspect, because like the whole time like the guy playing it was like crouched over and just like trying to get to the lower body. So that was pretty fun. I got a kick out of that one. I hope it works out for him.
I'm looking forward to that game because that's the one world where I could go head to head against Mr. Phoenix here in a fight and have even a chance of winning.
I mean, there's no other fighting games.
No.
Well, you could pit Mega Swampert against Ryan Phoenix. They have about the same arm mass, so I think it'd be a fair fight.
I don't know. I might still give that one to Ryan. I mean,
Ryan by a field goal.
Damn. All right.
All right, so let's get to the coup de grace, the big one. Of course, not too much of a surprise though. The new Legend of Zelda on the Wii U, and really short, just quick trailer for it. There's been a little bit of talk that I've seen about not even sure if the guy in blue that they show in the trailer is necessarily Link or not, but
Or necessarily a guy.
or necessarily
that's the other thing I
a guy.
heard.
Definitely, you know, very super feminine Link, but then again, Link has gotten more and more feminine over the years anyway. So you wouldn't really be surprised if it is Link,
Well,
you know.
he's an elf, so naturally he's going to be pretty waifish.
Yes, but
yeah, that's the thing. All elves are female. I tell you guys this every day, but you don't believe
I
me.
wouldn't believe
But
it.
they're androgynous, okay?
Androgynous.
Androgynous.
Andromedus is the
Sorry.
freaking name of a spaceship in some...
God bless Hercules in outer space. Hercules.
Hercules in Space is my favorite one.
That is the best one ever.
Oh.
Leprechaun in space.
But is anyone else just surprised, like, how little they showed off?
Not
Like,
really. I mean, I'm sure it's still really early on. The way that there was a lot of talk about what they meant by the whole like open world aspect of the game, and I'm really hoping that they're leaning this towards kind of like a Skyrim type thing. Definitely. That's the impression that I got just based on the wording that they use for everything. I loved the seamless transition of how he was showing off that like this is what the game world's gonna look like, and then he just like steps away, and then Link on Epona starts moving, and it's like, damn, that's so awesome how it flowed like that. But yeah, these beautiful environments. Same with like The Witcher 3, that had a beautiful looking environment to it too, and you can just see that. The graphics are really starting to step up now in these games, and it's going to be amazing stuff. But even with that said, we know it's not coming out till 2015 at least, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that one until late 2015. So, I guess going along with Zelda, we could talk briefly about the Hyrule Warriors game.
Hold on. We completely missed Captain Toad.
Oh, right. We did miss Captain Toad. I was just thinking about that. Captain Toad is a thing. He solves puzzles. He can't jump. If you played Super Mario 3D World, you played Captain Toad. That is all you need to know about Captain Toad.
I am satisfied with this. I'm looking forward to that game, though. Yeah, Johnny summed it up. But those levels are pretty fun.
It does look fun.
Yeah, it does look. It was fun in Mario 3D World too. I wouldn't mind them expanding on that. I'm not a huge puzzle guy myself, but it does not look bad.
It looks like fun just as long as it's not like priced as a full game, in my opinion.
Right.
If Tomb
I
Raider
think it's
was
going to be
in
a physical
2D,
copy game.
Hyrule Warriors, they talked about that. We already knew about that one, of course, going in. Dynasty Warriors, but with the Zelda characters. I don't know why, really.
I'm a big fan of the Dynasty Warriors series, more because it's based on the history that I know most. But
yeah.
on that note, I know they like to throw cameo characters in their games. I'm really hoping we'll see some Chinese gods of war show up in Bitch Slap Ganondorf, but
we might see some
I
blue
doubt
blue
it.
in there. You never know.
They actually hinted at that, Johnny, because during the treehouse, the guy that was being like a huge douchebag and not outright asking, are there cameo characters? He's like, can Lu Bu beat up Ganondorf? And then the developers were like, what, you mean in the game or what? And like, it's just like, he kind of sort of acknowledged that he could possibly be there.
He could. He might. Perhaps.
But yeah, I did not like the dude that was doing the whole like showing off of that game at all.
I was
like when he was playing as Midna, like he sucked so much of that game. Like he was talking about how great he was, and then he loses the fucking battle because he's not paying attention at all.
Oh well, that's how it goes, right? I don't know.
Well, we all know how hard it is to commentate while playing a video game.
Well, no, it's not even that. He was playing the game, and he's like, oh, I'm Midna, I am in control, I own the battlefield. It's like, oh, your main base was captured. The whole time he's talking, in the middle of the screen, it's telling him you have to return to the base or you're going to lose. The characters are telling him, we need help or we're going to lose. And then he loses, and then he doesn't talk for the rest of the segment.
Well, as is what he should do. You lost. You don't talk now.
That's so simple.
I don't know.
The base was on his tongue.
I don't know about that
Not
game.
captured.
I mean, people will buy it because it's Zelda, but Dynasty Warriors games
And it's Dynasty Warriors.
But they've
Who doesn't like Dynasty Warriors?
I
had
have
never heard of
Dynasty
Dynasty
Warriors.
Warriors
I
before this
forget which
game.
one. I have like 4 or 5. I think it's worth having a Dynasty Warriors game just for what it is, but they're not like the most amazing games in the world. You know?
Yeah, it's not really worth buying every single one because they're kind of all the same.
Basically.
But there's a greater issue here, boys. Antlion has never heard of Dynasty Warriors or played a game. We need to break
You've
him
never done
in.
that. Get yourself a PlayStation
Honestly,
2 and get any of the like 20 of them, and you'll be fine.
I much preferred Samurai Warriors.
I only know of
Samurai
Samurai Warriors.
Point.
Never played that one.
Getting right to the point.
It's the
But
same
Dynasty-
thing in Japan. That's all it
There
is.
you go.
It's the difference.
There's one's the PS3 where you can block and dodge and customize very nice boobies.
And what more does one
That's
need?
important.
That's perfect, right?
There was
It's like when
one last thing I wanted to talk about in the Skinray. Do you have something to say?
No, I was just going to talk about the wrestling games on Xbox where they have nice jiggle physics.
There you go.
But go ahead.
If you want jiggle physics, Xbox wrestling game. One thing I forgot to mention was the Mario Maker that got announced, which looks like it's kind of the spiritual sequel, I guess you want to say, of Mario Paint. Looks really cool. I'm glad that they're doing something like that again, because that's just screams Nintendo, like as far as being a good creative outlet. So that was pretty neat. You could make your own classic Mario Brothers on the NES level, and it would just as easily transfer into like a brand new, Super Mario Bros. For the Wii kind of a level. So that was pretty cool. I liked all that a lot.
I agree with you on that one, Johnny, but there's one thing I'm going to bring up. I like the idea, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. However, suspiciously, the interface looks a lot like Lunar Magic, which is a program for making levels for Super Mario World.
Well, maybe they stole that from the original Mario Paint. Just saying.
Nintendo owns everything.
Nudge, nudge.
I don't really know. If they did, they did. I don't know. it doesn't really matter, does it? Probably not. And that brings us to the end of
I'm just saying, the internet did it first.
E3 2014. It was pretty good, all in all. I saw on GameFAQs a couple of days ago their poll of the day was who won. Overwhelmingly, it was close. It was around like 45% of people said it was Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft in that order who won. I had heard. I finally just got to see Nintendo's conference today. I had seen Sony and Microsoft earlier, so I already had this kind of built-up feeling in my mind about what Nintendo was going to offer, and they offered good stuff. But with the exception of Smash Brothers, I'm not too thrilled about like the stuff that's coming out this year. They didn't sell me on a Wii U this year, at least. Maybe next year, but not this year.
But then, Johnny, how are you going to rock worlds with Mega Man and Smash
I
Brothers?
was never planning on doing that in the first place. I'll just sit here with my Nintendo and my Mario or my Mega Man 1 through 6 and just keep doing that over and over again till the end of time.
I'll do it for you, Johnny. Don't
There
worry.
you go. Good. Now someone else does it for me. Fantastic. So those are my thoughts in a nutshell. Anyone else? Well, you guys didn't really see Microsoft and Sony, did you? So
I think to end off, we should say who our character is going to be in Smash Brothers.
okay.
It's all of
I
us.
think that by the time any of these games come out, you won't care about them anymore.
I'll take that bet.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens. There's just too many games that are just okay. The new Wolfenstein was just okay. Watch Dogs was just okay.
I heard it was garbage.
I don't know.
That's exactly my point, is that it took so long for Watch Dogs to come out that I bet that all the people who saw that first trailer, which I don't know if this was E3 last year or 2 years ago or whatever, you probably got, let's say, 10 billion people who said, I'm going to buy that game. And by the time it came out, only about 500,000 of those people said, I'm going to go out and buy that game that I said I was going to buy all that time ago. Because it takes so long for anything to get from where they have this trailer, and then that trailer, and then this trailer, and that footage, and then when it finally gets to your hands, by now it's like, okay, you teased me for a year and a half. I don't care anymore.
Yep. I mean, that's just the state of it, I am leaning more and more towards probably not getting a new system at all and just getting a nice new laptop with a really nice graphics card and just sticking to Steam. I got plenty of games on here that I haven't even played yet, so...
That's the nature of Steam for you. On that note, summer sale's coming up.
Right?
Get your wallet ready.
When is it?
Also, codename Steam.
Yeah. Do you know when the Steam sale is?
This minute? No idea.
Okay. Well, it's pretty soon. It will probably be at the beginning of July or something like that. But looking forward to that. There'll definitely be some games I have to get. But anyhow, we've been doing this for about for a while now. Definitely went over the hour mark with that.
Oh yeah.
So I guess that's pretty much gonna sum it up. It was a good.
Oh no. We are ending off with our Smash Brothers characters. We're doing it.
Well, if I do play the game, I'm obviously gonna play as Mega Man. I'm also really interested
Alright.
in Little Mac just because he seems like a very different character. But
I'll be going as Little Mac just because I have experience with him already. Like all it was
So
was
much.
3 minutes, and
3 minutes,
I barely knew how to play. I KO punched some fuck idiot,
dude. You're 3 minutes ahead of everybody else. Yeah.
but that's true. But yeah, Little Mac, I think it's my character. He reminds me of me. He's a small guy that can hit like a motherfucker.
There you go.
All right, Genray, who's your character?
Is Ness in the game?
Not sure.
He will be.
Probably.
Well, yeah, he will be.
Ness, and if he's not in the game, fucking Mega Man.
Dilly DB.
I'm gonna be Mega Man.
Johnny's already Mega Man. Pick again.
Dilly doesn't know who's in the fucking game. That's why. Just say Link or
I would
Star
like
Fox
look.
or-
In my defense, Johnny fucked
ET
up
for the
last year.
2600. Gotcha. Antlion Alpha. Who's your
Why
character?
can't ET be in the game?
I'm really happy about Pac-Man. I want to be Pac-Man
fuck Pac-Man.
all day, every day.
Last but not least, Mr. Phoenix.
Probably gonna stick with Link. That's the one I've always gone.
Oh, even with Link? Oh man, Link was
Yeah.
terrible in the N64 version though. I hated him in that. He didn't have a recovery move at all in that game.
That's true.
I liked how his bombs hurt everyone. So in team matches, I just throw the bombs at my own like teammate.
Fair enough. Well, all right. I guess that's gonna do that for this edition. Weighing in on the new games coming out sooner than later, hopefully, and maybe it won't take us another year to do another one of these.
Oh yeah. Hopefully there's one in a week or two.
Well, who knows? We'll see.
Hopefully Johnny didn't mess up this recording this time.
No,
Oh,
I tested
I'm
it
backed
beforehand,
up.
so it will work.
Oh, we have a backup. Oh, good.
And we have a backup.
Right.
There was supposed to be one of these last year, folks, but it didn't happen. Anyhow, all right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Well, technically it did happen. It was just Johnny talking to himself for an hour.
It was. It was. We tried not to talk about the bad times, but they come up at the
I like
most
when you talk to
inconvenient
yourself,
moments.
Johnny. It's good. Yes,
Yes,
I agree.
Right, very much. I agree. Yes. Anyhow, all right. You guys, all the listeners, and you people have a wonderful day and enjoy your lives.
We love you all.
All right, later on, everybody.